If there's one thing that the majority of Minecraft players have built in their lives, it's a castle. Whether it's a castle like this, or a castle like this. I wanted to find out how castles have evolved over the years, so that's what we're going to do in this video. Like and subscribe if you enjoy, and we'll get started with one of Minecraft's earliest castles. This is a 2010 Minecraft castle. And as you can see, for 2010, it's pretty big. This is one of the oldest castle projects in Minecraft, and it was quite popular back in the day. But look at the scale of this thing, it's absolutely huge. And even though there's not as much going on with this castle as some of the other castles we're going to see in the video, this is definitely a really good attempt. There's small builds scattered around the castle, like this big katana sword here, this big lava water helix type thing, which looks pretty cool. And of course, the main castle itself, which for the limited blocks they had to work with back then, it's not too bad. We've got the bottom floor here, which looks really cool with the crafting benches they've got in the floor, as well as loads of storage underneath the castle. I can imagine playing this with my friends back in the day, going out mining and realizing, oh, I forgot my pickaxe in this specific chest right here, and you have to run all the way back to get it. And there's a random rocket here, which it's a bit out of character. Do not press this button. I don't think that did anything. What I do love about this map is that there's a really cool personal touch to it. There's signs here thanking the first visitor, the 100th visitor, and apparently the castle has two sides, a day and night side, so we'll compare the two. This is the castle in the day, and this is the castle at night. And I see what they mean. The lava pools with the dragons, they look a lot cooler at nighttime. And as you can see, they've used cobblestone, mossy cobblestone, wood, and wool. And honestly, they haven't really used much else because nothing else existed back then. And as impressive as this is, it's nothing compared to some of the other builds we're going to cover in this video. So from the 2010 castle, now we're on to the 2012 castle. And here it is. Looks pretty basic, right? Well, as you can see, there are a few more builds over there and a whole lot more over this way. This is where builders in Minecraft really started getting serious, having entire teams building their projects. And whilst they still had limited blocks to work with, they made up for that in scale. And when we're on the ground level, you have an even better sense of the scale of this place. Like, even running up here is taking me absolutely ages. And it's not just big, it's also very detailed. There's market stalls down here, and the builders even have their own houses scattered around the map, which is insane. Outside the castle walls, there's even farm areas with loads of wheat and stuff. It's really impressive. They even have cranes building unfinished houses. That's so cool. And as you can see, they've got some stone bricks to work with now compared to the last build. I would love to know the story of how long this took to build, because I think I can speak for 99% of people watching this. This is more impressive than anything we've ever done in Minecraft. And this was back in 2012. And that's 12 years ago. 12 years. How? Where has time gone? And you can also see how the building has got a lot more complex, mainly with the use of stairs and fences. Everything has a lot more texture to it, and it leans closer to the realistic castle look compared to the last build. And just when you think the entire thing is done, it keeps going over here, with this cool dragon on top of a watchtower here. And I think we can light that. There we go. That looks pretty neat. And just when you thought it couldn't go any further, I mean, look, the main compound is out of my render distance, and they've still built stuff over here. It looks like we're in the farmlands now, because my computer is lagging trying to render all this wheat. And I'm fairly certain they've built an entire mountain there. That is not in the game by default. But before we go and look at that, we have to come over here, because there's the dragon, which is about to go out of my render distance. And all the way over here, they have kept going. Like, this world does not stop. There's bridges, there's mountains, there's villages, there's windmills. What will blow your mind, or at least it blew mine, is that they've gone and built another massive compound over here, where we finally get our traditional medieval castle. And obviously, I haven't seen any of these maps before, and for this being in 2012, I'm really struggling to comprehend how an entire 12 years of people getting better at building, new blocks and mechanics being added to the game is going to add to this, because this is so impressive. It seems that in this area of the land, they've gone for a more Asian design. So they had the main build in the center, the sort of Asian-inspired build further that way, and a whole desert castle area over here. I really do not want to know how long this took them to build. It gives me Game of Thrones vibes, honestly. Having a completely different building style in each area of the map. Massive props to the builders who did this thing. And it just goes to show how much can change in 2 years. How ambitions grow, how skill set grows, how people's imagination grows. And despite being built in 2012, I am genuinely intrigued at how they're going to top this in the future builds. And finally, just for a bit of scale to this entire build, this area here, which if you can remember was really far away from where we started, only takes up about that much on the map, and where we started isn't even covered in this entire area. You'd probably have to do a 3x3 grid of these just to fit everything in. And now we move on to 2014. And you might be wondering, what can top the thing we just saw then? Well, this might. Some of you might have instantly recognized this place, but if not, here's a picture of the thing it's referencing. And it is, of course, Game of Thrones. More specifically, Castle Black. And if you've not watched the show, this is basically a giant ice wall built at the very north of the kingdom to try and keep out any evil beings. And it looks like the entire wall is on fire. Oops. But before it all gets burnt to a crisp, you can see here that it's basically just a small compound enclosed in a kind of big wall. And honestly, compared to the last one, it doesn't look that impressive in scale. This is the main castle here. This is the elevator that takes people up the wall. Sadly, I don't think it's going to work. And once we fly up the wall, which takes a long time, we're at the top here, where they've got catapults. I don't really know what these are meant to be. And if I fly around and spectate for a while, they've actually built a lot of the ice lakes and stuff that you actually see in the show. But this must have taken absolutely ages to build. I mean, look at it. And this is the gate that leads through the wall back into the compound where we started. This one isn't as vast as the one we just saw, but I thought this was a really cool example of how people started to bring other works of fiction into the game. And what better game to build these things in than Minecraft? It's a shame that with the Elytras now you could probably just fly straight over there. The insides are all decorated quite nicely, and even though there's not as much as the last map, I think each individual building seems to have had a lot more care put into it. Anyway, that's it for 2014. I'm just rewatching Game of Thrones right now, and I really had to put it in the video. On to 2016. And from Game of Thrones to Harry Potter, the best castle map I could find in 2016 was by far Hogwarts. I actually just built Hogwarts Castle out of Lego, and this looks pretty similar. It's basically a 1-to-1 scale of the entire castle. The landscape alone is really cool, but we'll just focus on the actual castle itself for now. So like I said, it's basically a 1-to-1 scale of Hogwarts. You even have all the floating candles. I don't know how they've done that. All the different house colors and tables, and of course the front where Dumbledore would stand, and you're not Dumbledore. Going into the stairways, we've got all the talking paintings and stuff like that. I'm wondering if there's any secret, but wow, first time find a secret passage. Don't really know where this goes, but we'll find out very slowly. No way is it just pumpkins. Well, that was a waste of time. In the films, these staircases are constantly changing, taking you to different parts of the castle. And just like in the films, it's very easy to get lost. Yep, I'm lost. One of the cool things with this map is that they have been upgrading it over time. I don't actually know if Deep Slate was around in 2016. In fact, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But that's also why I chose it for this list, because things people were making back in 2016, they're still updating to today. And I don't know about you, but that's longer than I've ever stuck to any of my hobbies. I started learning piano a while ago, and I've almost given up on it. There's the Quidditch pitch, which is probably one of the most iconic parts of Harry Potter. And honestly, if you've played the video game Hogwarts Legacy, you'll realize that this is almost identical to how they've laid it out in the game. You can also see that compared to the other builds, these ones are getting more and more detailed in how they're doing their brickwork. You can also follow the path down here that leads you out of the Hogwarts gates, past this thing, which maybe one of you could tell me what this is, because I have no idea. They've even built the maze from the Goblet of Fire, which probably took a long time. I wonder if I can actually complete it. Okay, so we start here, and let's go. Hopefully it doesn't start moving around on me like in the film. How did I end up right back at this? What? Wow, I finally got to the center. Just ignore the destruction behind me. Congratulations, push the button. And it's taken me back to the start. Cool. I feel very bad for doing this now. They have Hagrid's hut down here. They've actually named the potions as well. That's pretty cool. That should help me quite a lot. Wow, it really does. This is meant to be the Whomping Willow, I'm pretty sure. Which means there's probably a secret room in here. Oh, I pressed on something. What the hell? Oh, that is cool. If you've watched the films, you'll know exactly where this is. And wait, Oh, so I must have got teleported here before. That's cool. And if we fly away from the castle a bit, which is way over there, we get to Hogsmeade Station. And I feel like this blows the Game of Thrones one out of the water with how massive it is in scale. This is, of course, where all the students arrive, and then they head down this path here, get into the boathouse, and they go across the lake to Hogwarts. In fact, let's go there ourselves. And we can finally see Hogwarts in the distance. Wow, at nighttime, this place looks so insane. And we've arrived. I know the one back in 2012 was big too, but these builds are just so much bigger and better quality. And even under the castle, we have all these pipe networks, which are probably from the Chamber of Secrets. And of course, the chessboard from the Philosopher's Stone.
Not me, not Hermione, you.
And in the films, after completing the chessboard, they could come down here and they're greeted with a big mirror. And I just stepped on some pressure plates that ignited the fire. I'm pretty certain there are hundreds of secrets to explore on this map. So I'm going to leave the download link below along with all the other maps I'm playing, and you can go explore for yourself, which I highly recommend you do. And now moving on to 2018. This is Arcania, and we come in on a ship at the harbour. And before I fly up and give you an entire scale of this place, here's a little backstory. The project was originally a waterfall streaming into a lake, and that's it. But as the lake grew, and so did the surrounding buildings, the developer of this map realised he was onto something big here. So the developer hasn't replicated a location from an existing game or film, and they haven't just built a castle. They've made their own entire world. Welcome to Arcania. And honestly, I don't think I'm doing this map justice unless I walk around the streets and go in every building. But obviously I can't do that in this video. Everything is just built with such precision. There's no block out of place, and with the shaders on, it just looks amazing. And honestly, this feels like a modern version of the map we saw in 2012, with everything being a lot more condensed, prettier, and making use of all the new objects in Minecraft. This isn't finished, by the way, so there's still a lot to go. All the buildings are currently empty, which is why they've been marked with these signposts here so they can be developed in the future. But this is a build that I'm really going to be keeping my eye on. There's more castle structures further away from the city, and one of the most impressive parts of this map is the terrain. Like this mountain range, oh, wow. And even more impressive, all of these trees in this jungle area have little structures around them. It really feels like every part of this map has been crafted with care. This world is a fantasy world, so of course we have some cool floating avatar-like islands. It feels like we're approaching the peak of what people can do in Minecraft, but honestly, I doubt that. Look at this hidden cave I just found. It's got a really cool pirate ship. This would take me about a week to build on its own, and it's just hidden away in the cave there. There's bridges scattered around, random outhouses, different biomes, including this one, which, wow, that looks scary. Every single part of this map could be used in a movie. We go even further away and we find even more structures, where it looks like there's some cool magic going on here, opening some sort of portal. The mountain ranges have waterfalls, lakes, unique trees, coastlines, even bigger, cooler pirate ships, smoke coming from chimneys of random houses, entire villages just hidden in the middle of nowhere with their own unique designs. And the person building this is one person. There's a volcano. There's the inside of a volcano. And if this doesn't make you excited about what building is going to look like in the future of Minecraft, then nothing will. This game is never going to die. And if you told me as a kid that I'd be revisiting Minecraft in 14 years, I probably wouldn't believe you. Games just don't last that long. But Minecraft does. And it doesn't just last, it evolves. A single new block added to the game can inspire a builder to build an entire city. I mean, look below me, none of these blocks even existed 5 years ago. This literally wouldn't have been possible. So as the game develops and people grow more experienced, there's one thing for certain. You can count on a group of people, or sometimes even just one person, building something absolutely amazing.